Time just keeps ticking. It's hard moving forward when time keeps ticking and we're not changing, isn't it? Acceptance is critical, and in this video we're going to talk about this because a great email came in I think we're all going to relate to. Roll it! Welcome back to another video where we've been exploring this whole idea of change. Time keeps ticking and change. It's not gonna stop. We need to change and we need to look for that positive growth, because with change, growth has to come, or else we fight it and negativity just keeps piling on and it's not healthy. And then eventually we do have to change and we don't like it, but change is change. So in this email, we go through this whole idea. Hi Nikos, you are so right. Thank you. Time just keeps ticking and change is happening, like it or not. 100%. I'm really stuck on acceptance. I have had a rough go last few years with abusive relationships in all aspects of my life. One got physical. I hate it when I hear this stuff. I really find it hard to be in this spot and say I accept it. Am I missing something? I don't know if you're missing something or if you're going through the emotions of accepting it. I don't think it's overnight. It's not just going to be like, and I've accepted it, and it's not like that for anybody. It takes time depending on what occurred. And when you're saying I've been in a lot of you don't say the timeline of it, but you've been in a lot of abusive relationship, and it spans several years. You said a few. I'm assuming you're backtracking to 2, 3, 4 years, and one was really abusive. I don't think it's something you can just accept overnight. And I know a lot of people will be like, hey, you just gotta accept the truth of the matter and blah 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 blah, and gotta move forward and be positive that things are gonna get better. But you had a bad experience that changed your life fundamentally for ever. It's not done overnight. And when we say acceptance of what happened, it's the idea that I'm trying to really put forward, is that when a bad experience happens, we need to accept the fact that the reality is it happened. We can't change that it happened. We can't change that this occurrence happened to us. It's as hard as it is to think about it. We need to accept the fact that we were there and it happened, and it's not just something we can just throw out. And it's something that either we enabled, or something that we didn't have a choice. It just happened to us. It was part of a life event, that wrong place, wrong time kind of thing, whatever the situation was. But the idea is that we have to accept that momentary a set of events that occurred, and we need to leave it where it is, to leave it with the emotions that came with it, and to leave it there so we can start experiencing the growth we need through the changes that are coming in order to get to that next stage in our life. It's every bad experience, as I said in other videos, they're different levels, and everything is so much harder. So to when somebody tells me they've been through an abusive relationship, this is probably one of the hardest conversations you can have with somebody over accepting what happened. It was just a thing that happened. Not accepting it from a perspective of somebody, it wasn't my fault or somebody else's fault and the blame and this and that. It's just that idea of time and where we are of that event occurring. And I wanted to be really clear about that, because I know a lot of people will be like, well, when somebody gets abused, when a female is getting abused from a guy, well, it's not her fault, it's his fault, and why are you defending him and stuff like that, and these words kind of get confused. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that idea of the moment, what occurred was a bad experience, and it happened. We need to accept that, so we're not replaying this with negative chatter, this whole story over and over and over, living in this angered state, and not allowing it to just, take a step back so that we can focus on the positive stuff that we can really work on. And that growth will come, as you start moving forward. Growth starts to happen when you start focusing on that stuff we need to focus on in order to move towards that new direction we're heading in. Will that stuff ever leave? Bad experiences, they don't just leave. And a lot of the time when I talk to people who have gone through what you've gone, everybody experiences it differently. And in those moments, I have to see, when we're walking through the idea of how this all works, everybody's different, but a lot of the times it takes a long time for people to surpass that moment. They just keep living in it. They will jump back into it. And I mean, PTSD, when you've gone through it and you're reliving things. In a medical sense, you need medical help. So if you are going through something like that, then acceptance will be so hard. And I think this is what I'm getting at, and this is what I'm trying to explain it from this perspective. It will take time. But as you start to move forward into something, that growth will help you deal with that. And it's the reality of why it doesn't happen overnight. You need to see change. You need to see growth. You need to see that positive movement forward, positive chatter coming in your head. You need to be able to get into that place where you start saying no to people, so that you can bring up your personal sense of who you are, that self-respect, that self-love, so you can hug all those bad experiences and say it's okay. And this is the big picture of what I'm trying to say. And a lot of the times when I'm talking to people, really it's this idea of saying no. It's the no portion. They're finally at that level where it's not a big jump. They're right there, right? And really it's this. A lot of times it's just this little piece of important matter in between where they go, I matter. And they say, I will change and I will start saying no. And this little bit of no starts to grow, and all of a sudden that idea of who they are comes back, and they are able to start moving towards having great relationships, not abusive ones, not those garbage relationships where people are toxic, ruining every aspect of everybody around them, and you're just part in that party, and it's a horrible place to be. And doing this little movements gets you there. It gets you moving. Saying no is critical. And this is the beginning of it. And that acceptance portion that it has happened and I'm okay with it, and now I'm hugging that pain and we'll move forward in this, and it's gonna work out. We're gonna get to that better place. Well, this is, one of the best ways to do it, to just say no to the things that aren't fit with your values, with your personal self, that sense of those priorities that need to happen with people and places and things. It's your life principles, or your principles of life. Those things that all revolve around integrity, so you know that every decision you make is based on that integrity. Life starts to change, starts to move forward, and it starts getting you in a positive direction. And the reality is that simple, but doing it is incredibly hard. And when I look at your email, it's heartfelt, and when you say, am I missing something? I don't think you're actually missing anything. I just think you've gone through something that's going to take way more time to get through and grow through and really get to that place where you want to be, where I think you already know where you want to be, or else you wouldn't be emailing me. Take some time and ask yourself, what is it you've been doing that's helped? What hasn't helped? And how many times are you saying this magical word no to the things that don't align with you? Put all of these things into order and ask yourself, when the things that are working, why, and the things that aren't working, how many times you should have, tried maybe something else, but you kept doing instead of saying no. And put this all into perspective of the next steps. What are the few things you should be doing each day that will help you get moving in terms of making more decisions based on integrity? because I think you're going to cultivate that environment around you with the right people by doing this, and things will start moving in the right direction. My name is Nikos Rentas. This is mentorsapproach.com. Hit a like if you like what you see. Of course, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss those daily ideas, the motivational ideas that will get you moving in the right direction. If you've been in a situation like this, leave your story below. Leave your comment. Because who knows, somebody watching this video might read your comment and it might help change a life.